So Catherine and I obviously both have a farm. You guys see that, and you obviously know we YouTube because you watch it. But a lot of y'all are YouTubers, and a lot of you may not be. But we want to talk about how the YouTube influences us, because it really is. Even when we weren't making that great of videos in the start, it's a lot of time and it's a lot of effort, and it, we're real people, and it really does affect us in the way that we think about it, why we do it, and so on and so on. So yeah, Catherine,
I'm thinking like, why? Well, I remember the very beginning. You had already posted a
that
few
barely
videos.
started.
Yeah, and we were watching Scott Hebert and commenting back and forth and stuff. And you had said, "Well, hey, you're doing this thing up in Alaska. Why don't you do a YouTube channel?" And that is the reason why I did it. I thought, well, I really don't have much going on, but it'd be cool just to document it. I was thinking, like to be able to look back and see where I started and stuff like that. So for you, why did you start it in the first place? And then, like, why are you still posting? Is it
Yeah,
changed?
it's been really interesting for me. So I think, looking back, I think we've been here about the same time. So it's been over 2 years, right?
Yep.
It's been a long time. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy. But so I started watching YouTube, and I never got interested in it till I seen the gardening stuff. And then I remember there was one guy, I've seen a lot of people, but there's a guy, Plant Abundance. He still does videos, and he's got the food forest in his backyard. And I still watch him sometimes, but that time I watched like every video and I loved it. But I'm thinking, man, if I had that food forest, I could do it better. Like I could video it better. And now I know that's crap. So that's the thing, is now that we're doing it, and we're seeing to make a simple, plain video. So anyway, yeah, I started because I wanted to do that. And I remember the first video that I made and I put it up was a sweet potato thing. And I had been throwing the idea around for a while because I just wanted to see if I could show it, and if I could do it, because I really enjoyed the content and I wanted to make something like that. And I made the video, and I'm like, I had to have this mindset to do it. I'm like, okay, you're going to shoot this video with your phone and you're never going to do anything with it. So it doesn't matter how bad it sucks. And I did it, and I was like, this doesn't suck all that bad.
Right.
So I figured out how to upload it, and it went from there. And I think you said we did this. We were both commenting on Scott Hebert's stuff, and you and Scott commented. You were the first comments that ever came on my video, and it was because of something I had said in one of his videos or in the comments.
Right.
And that was like just a huge thing to me. Like, oh my God, somebody's watching. One, a really great farmer, and then two, Scott was already obviously in the YouTube, and I really liked his content. I was like, wow, even he went over and checked it out and give me a little bit of encouragement. And yeah, that to me, that's a big deal, because you have some really great farmers and YouTubers down in your section, like that people we probably both look up to, right?
Right. Yeah.
To me, it's almost like you're walking down the road, because we comment on their videos, they comment on ours, and it's, remember when the computer communication, like vlogging and what was chat room stuff came up, it was like, oh, that's bad because this is not real life interaction and conversation, and that's not how I see this.
Me neither. For me, it opens up this whole, like, they're exactly, you're right. They say, oh, you really need to do this more in-person stuff. This whole weird chatting stuff is not healthy, or, whatever. It's not how we're supposed to interact as human beings or something. I just feel totally different about it. I feel like I'm able to talk to people who are interested in the same things or some of the same things that I'm interested in, and that I get to like have this, you know, it's a very short conversation, you know, this little comments here and there. It's not like you can have an hour long conversation. I mean, you could if you got on Zoom or something, or did a live stream. So there is that opportunity to have. So how is it really different from being like in person with, you know, it's not
Yeah,
really.
and I do agree with the idea that back when it was the chat rooms, because you'd be like, "This is me," and I could be some creep in my mom's basement.
Right,
But
right.
that's not the case here.
You see the
You see
person.
my farm, you see me, yeah.
Right,
And in the chat room, I say, "Oh, I grow 100 acres of the best Salanova," and you're like, "Oh, this guy is awesome."
right.
But I can't do that on here. Like you're looking and you're like, "You're not. This is
Yeah,
what you're not going to tell me some crap."
right. Yeah.
So to me, that's a big deal. And then the cool thing to me is and you've diversified your channel some, like, so
Right.
you have your travel stuff. Y'all go up river and you do
Yeah.
some other stuff, and you've had some just miscellaneous videos where you had something you wanted to show. And
Yeah.
mine's pretty broad. I got like the mushrooms and then the
And you've
gardening
gone
and
on trips too. You've gone on hiking trips.
so you pull in these otherwise uninterested people. So
Right.
I have a lot of mushroom nerds that
Yeah.
watch the garden stuff, and I have a bunch of garden nerds that are like, "Well, that's cool with the mushrooms. I don't hunt
Right.
them, but that's cool." And yeah, so is that kind of what you're seeing?
Yeah, it's interesting because I think that when I first thought, well, first when I thought about the whole YouTube thing was it's kind of like I had never really thought about it because I kind of thought that it would be too technically difficult, or like it just wasn't something I kind of thought about. And so when you had said, well, you should do a YouTube channel, growing in Alaska, that might be interesting. I thought, okay. And then, yeah, it was the documenting that I thought that would be kind of cool. I'll look back and see, well, how much bigger it is, and how I started out and stuff. But it did become different in that, it did become an outlet for other things that I wanted to do. Like I love making the boat videos. I just it's I don't know. I actually enjoy probably making the boat videos more, although I like
That is
any.
what.
Yeah,
Yeah, totally. On the travel stuff, and I can see that in yours because you don't have to put any of your talking. You can put the
yes.
music over, and yeah, and I think the viewers like that. Honest, really.
Right. I mean, I'm the kind of person that when I watch a channel, I kind of like it when somebody mixes it up a little bit and brings in other parts of their life, and that you get to see other things. I kind of like that. I mean, I don't have a problem with people doing like, I'm a garden channel, so I'm going to do gardening. And I think that probably that makes the most sense. But for me,
Yeah,
it was kind of like this thing where like if I'm reading a book, I want to share an idea or something like that. I like to be able to do that. There's no other like, I don't have like a book group in town. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
like if I
exactly.
if I've read a book and there are more people out there that might be interested in what I'm reading than like maybe in my town, for example. So those few people that might be interested in it might comment and give me some ideas that I hadn't thought about. And so in some ways it might be like a little bit of a book group chat type thing. Yeah, and so YouTube has allowed me to kind of do more stuff than I had originally thought I was going to do. And so that's been something that's different. Um, but but it's weird. The documentation is huge. Like I look back, just like, okay, my cucumbers died. Now, how did I plant? I should have watched my video first before I plant. Like, how did I do this last year? It worked out. So I look back and I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah, I did that thing, and I had a whole week of sun, and oh yeah, that. And so that I oftentimes look back at my videos for information for me. And so now when I make the videos, I I don't want to bore people with the details, so I know that some people are just kind of want to know what I'm doing. Some people, like I think with you, like now, what is she doing with the hoops? Maybe, or whatever, like the detail, what sprayer is she using? Like that sort of thing. And so I want to include those things for people who are interested in that. But then I also want to like document, okay, how much germination did I get from the plugs? And so I'm like, oh, okay, I've got this many left that didn't germinate. And that's just for me, so that I can look back and see those kinds of things.
And I see, like, when I'm watching your channel, for instance, or any of the other guys, I want that longer, the long form video. I want to see what you're doing because I'm taking notes. I'm watching that.
Right.
I'm like, okay. But when I'm doing it, I'm like, I edit out most of it because I'm like, nobody wants to see this crap.
Right.
Cut it all out. But then when I watch you or any of the other guys, I'm wanting to see what they're doing.
Yes, like don't fast forward that. Wait, I want to see that. Yeah.
But the other thing is I will not. No, I have made exceptions, and more so recently. But I will not watch my own videos. I'll edit them, and then obviously I have to see it then.
Right.
At first, I did that because my views were so low that I didn't want to alter them, and I wanted to see what I could get.
Yeah.
But I really do not like watching myself. I hate it, except for the travel videos.
Right.
I will watch those, and like you said before, that's the ones that I love to make the most. And occasionally, and I think it shows in the video, sometimes you want to make a garden video and everything's right and you feel right and you do it. The video comes out better, in my opinion. And I do have fun making it.
You were talking about, that you like your travel videos, that you'll watch those, but you don't watch your garden videos.
Hardly ever. I can't stand, and I don't go back and reference them. They're there.
Right.
But I'm so disorganized in the way that I figured this out too late, but the way that I titled the videos.
Oh, right.
Times I would never figure it out. And
right.
I never do stuff the same anyway. So
right. Yeah.
It really hasn't helped me much like that.
Right.
One thing to me though, we make the videos and I make a video and I'm like, I finally got one right. I got the music right. The video is awesome, whatever. And like, people are going to like this. And nobody watches it, which is cool.
Right.
But then put out something. I'm like, this is total crap. I don't want to upload this. I'm
right.
Like, I should upload it. That was one thing when we started. I was talking a little bit to Scott and he's like, that's stupid, man. Put it up. Put it up there. It don't matter.
Yep.
And he has admittedly put up stuff that he didn't care for.
Right.
Like the dude did it for 400 and something days consecutive.
Although then he went and deleted them all.
Yeah. He did that with us, but he hated some of the stuff he put up, I think, or maybe not hated it, but anyhow, so I did that and they got views. And this is a thing, like if there's some of the guys watching that are some of our YouTube friends, this is something weird that's happened with me. Not weird, it's observation. So last summer, I made videos showing some of my varieties because when I originally started the channel, that was something that I wanted to see more of. I wanted to be able to look in a magazine and see Montreal cucumber, the cucumber that you grow.
Right.
I want to be able to say, I just want to see somebody growing it, see what they say. I don't want to, the guy selling it to me, of course it's great.
Right.
But I couldn't find much of that stuff. So
I
started doing it and nobody watched them. And I was like, what is this? So now, starting in January, when they send the catalogs out and people start ordering, I've recently had a big uptick in views, and it's been my okra. There's a jambalaya okra and cucumber varieties, another one, and then something with a melon. And those videos, relative to my other views, I still have low views, but they've shot through the roof, and it only makes sense. Nobody wanted to see the review when they're growing it. They wanted to see it when they're ordering the seeds.
Right.
And so it's like a delayed reaction.
That's why I always say don't delete videos, man, because like same thing with my tools. well, I did a review of the wheel hoe, and I did a review of, like, I can't remember. And, then you see as the season's going in and people are maybe thinking about buying tools, they're looking for
Yep.
reviews. And so then the views go up, and then they shoot up. And sometimes those are things also, like, for example, my most watched video is changing a chain on an electric chainsaw. Is because
Yes.
there are so many people with electric chainsaws. There are no videos on how to change a chain on those things. Like, I looked and looked, there were none that I could find. And so you make a general purpose video like that, and then there's people from all over the world that are buying these chainsaws that are like, oh my gosh, how do you change this? And then so then people watch it. And so I think sometimes too with the title, is important too, because if people are looking for varieties, you want to say variety, and you want to say the
Correct.
the
Yeah.
name of the thing, and then people search for those and it comes right up and stuff. So yeah.
And so, and that's the thing. I think me and you both agree. Like, we don't, when we make a video, we want it to be genuine.
Right.
We're not trying to do the clickbait thing. We're not
Right.
trying to do what they want. We're doing what we want to do,
Yeah.
but we do want views. Like,
Right.
because we're doing this, we need some sort of return, and neither one of us are monetized, by
Right.
the way.
Right.
But it's a return still, and so do you. I've had to do it mentally, because there's been some times like I bet people would watch this and I'm like, I don't think it would be a good video. Do you have a mindset that's like conflicted, where you want to do something that people will watch and you're like, I'm not selling out and I'm doing me? Is that a thing with you?
Well,
Or
I do. When I make the video, when we talked previously, where I'm thinking, this will be boring. I don't want it. So the content of a video, as I'm editing, chop that out, or as I'm filming the thing, think, no, people aren't gonna. This is just too tedious and boring. Um, and I chop the stuff out. So I do think about people watching things and what they would or wouldn't like in that way. But as far as like what I'm doing, it is absolutely for me. I feel like it's kind of like being on the airplane. If you don't, when the oxygen goes out, help yourself first before you help the other person. So it's like, I don't know, that's not even a good analogy, but it's like, if I'm not enjoying it, if I'm not having fun and I'm not enjoying it, and I'm just kind of thinking, oh, what would other people want? And I'm thinking, I just don't think that it would be, I don't think it'd be authentic. I wouldn't enjoy it. I wouldn't want to do it. It'd be a chore. It'd become a chore. I don't want it to be a chore. I want it to be like, I enjoy doing the videos. There are hard parts, like, if the weather's crappy and it's raining, you're trying to take a, should I set this up, or should I get my big tripod, or do I just use my little Joby fellow, or, but for the most part, I really enjoy the whole thing. And so I want to be able to continue to enjoy it. So,
and
yeah.
that's me, because I've actually scrapped a lot of videos because I'm like, this would be cool. People would like it. First, I've got to say it'll be cool. So I
Right.
don't feel like I've ever sold out, because first I've got to think it. Then I do it, and I threw away probably, for every video I've put up, I've probably thrown away, for every free videos maybe that I've put up, I've probably thrown away one. Maybe not that bad, but
Right.
and it's different in different time frames, and it has to do with me, how much I'm working and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
you say you enjoy it,
Yeah.
like making it. I don't know about that, because when I do it, like, I need to get work done in the garden,
Yeah.
and I'm thinking, I really want to make a video of this because this is awesome. I like harvesting stuff, and that's,
Yeah.
if you came to my house, I'd be like, let's harvest some crap. I want you to see what I've got, and I want to load you up with a basket and send you out with that basket. But then you have this time frame, like, well, if I film it, then I won't have time and all of this. And at that point, I'm really conflicted on, do I film it? And you try to make it flow natural, but
Right.
you analyze other people's video and like, yeah, dude got up, he moved the camera, so now he's walking into the camera, he was walking away from
Yeah.
it. Now you're looking at the plant, looking up, you're looking down.
And that's a lot of work to do all those different shots like that.
You're stuck and you're messing up your work workflow,
Yeah.
and that kills me. But then if I get it right and I get it in here, and even when I go to edit it, I'm like, oh, now I got to get all this, put it together and
Right.
edit because I rambled here. I got to cut that out.
Yeah.
But when I finally start chopping it together, then I'm like, this on a computer, just in it. Then the whole, everything that I do with the video, sometimes it feels natural and I get it out and I'm like, this is awesome. I'm going with it. And that's when the videos are good. But usually I have to force myself out with the camera.
Right.
I have to force myself to edit. Not that I hate doing it, because I do this for me. It's a creative process. And yeah, so are you forcing yourself, or are you just?
Yeah, so this is my thing. Such a good stuff you're bringing up there. So yeah, sometimes, like, especially like say last week, for example, I had so much stuff to do, and it, like, but what I did was I decided, rather than, like, say, film the whole thing and then like speed things up and stuff like that, that I would just take bits and pieces. And I didn't use my big tripod at all. I brought my little Joby guy down. I'm like, whatever Joby gets, that's what he gets. And that's so like when I was putting up the trellis pieces, I put Joby on the table, the greenhouse table. I turned him up, and so all you can see is me up there. I'm kind of, okay, well, there I am, and okay. And then I just took stuff from that. And I didn't take a bunch of video from like when I was doing stuff. It was like, okay, I'm doing the start, this is what I'm doing, and then I just took a look at the end, And so when I'm doing videos and I have a lot to do, I will sometimes kind of do stuff like that. It's like, here's a before shot. Hi, I try and put maybe some of it with me in, because if it's all just looking at plants, it gets, I think, boring for people. They want to see you and you there, right? So I try and get some of me in there with the selfie with Joby, like I'm here talking to Joby, hi, and so it's just him, it's just that, and sometimes I'm like, I'm not going to film this. I am just going to go out and do this. And I'm thinking, like when I was putting up the tunnel things, it was going to rain. I got to get this up. And I didn't even have Joby with me. So I took the phone and I held it back, selfie, like old fashioned selfie style. And so then like my face is all close and I'm, you see up my nostrils and stuff, but I'm like, whatever, because I was thinking to myself, some folks might want to know how many wires I put in and how I spaced them. And so I'm just going to quickly do a thing, but you might hear my voice. I'm a little rushed, So, I try and manage that so that I don't want to get to the place where like, oh gosh, darn, this is a pain in the ass. I do sometimes but what I do to manage that is like, okay, I'm going to do this the easiest way possible. I'm going to get a few shots of the thing. I'm going to take Joby with me. It's going to be really easy to move around. I'm using my iPhone. It's what I have with me anyway. And so that's how I manage that. And then as far as editing, dude, I am telling you, I spend 6 freaking hours editing a video. Yeah. Every time I think I was really proud of myself at one point. I thought, I'm gonna get these things done. Like, I'm gonna get it done in a few hours. I'm just gonna throw it together and be happy with it and just get it out there. And I did early on. I was able to do a few videos like that, and I was really proud of myself. But what happens is like literally, okay, if I'm starting at 5:00 in the afternoon, I'm thinking to myself, this is gonna be going out to people, public at, what I say, 6 hours, it'll be 11:00 at night. And darn it, if I start at 9:00 at night, it's gonna be, it's gonna be late. And I've been doing a couple of them like that. And that is from like, cause what I do is I'm a wacko. I'm a little bit of an organization wacko. I don't like dealing with detail. I don't like organizing things, but I kind of have to if I'm going to stay on top of stuff, because I'm not the kind of person who can remember like what I did yesterday. So what I do is I take all my little files and I put dates on them and I kind of quickly name them. Carrot planted, whatever, carrot planted. Okay, lettuce planted, and I number them so they're all in order. And so that takes me, I don't know how long that takes me. It might take me a half hour. I don't know how long it takes me. It takes me a while. And I hate that part of it.
You did that,
I hate
but
it. But I have gone back so many times and like, oh my God, what date did I plant those freaking carrots? I didn't write it down. I go back to my thing, my photograph, carrot planted. Oh, this date. Okay. And so like it's helped me enough. I mean, it's probably not worth it, but it's helped me enough that I do it. And then I take it and I pull it down into iMovie and just start going through it. Now, I like the editing part of it. I mean, it's a little bit of a chore sort of thing. It's kind of a, especially when I have to like, oh God, people are going to want to know, like, for example, I just had a question for somebody about the clips I used for my cucumber trellis. And so like
yeah,
I did a video and I took the time to go to Johnny's website, take a picture of it. Sometimes I'm good enough to get a link and put it in my video description if I'm really good. But you know, those things take a lot of time. And so those kind of things I don't really like, but I think to myself, gosh, some people might really appreciate that I've got this in there. And then if I'm trying to find like, well, what did I buy? Like, you know, sometimes I do, I'm like, what was that thing that I bought? What was it called? Who did I buy it from? I know I can go back to a video and look. So it's also for me. And so some of those things that are a little bit of a chore and I think, oh, this is going to take time. I don't really have the time. I think to myself, it's going to be worth it. You know, it's worth it. I just got to do it. And, so I'd say, I don't know what percent of the whole YouTube part I could say, I mostly enjoy it. And then there's chunks of it that I'm kind of like, this is a chore, you know?
and that's the thing too. And you have the discipline is you're putting a whole week together. And a lot of people may or may not know this, and I think you're a little bit the same way, but not as bad as me. But most of my friends don't know I do this.
Right.
My family knows now because my mother is a detective and she figured it out. Like she seen something in a comment and she went and researched and like, hey, by the way, congratulations on the channel. But I've been up for a year, but my landlords don't know it. They would be cool with it.
Right.
But I'm super self-conscious and I think it helps me make my videos natural because I'm only talking to the people that are into this.
Yes.
Or they would be watching me because then they can turn me off. You don't want to hear what I say, you can turn me off. The landlords, you know, I don't know. It's just something I'm super
I'm the same way, and I don't know what that is 100%, except for that I guess I do feel like I want to make the videos for people who are interested. You know, like, so if you're interested in gardening, you're in this kind of YouTube gardening community, and I like those folks, you know, in my comment section, because they're interested and want to support me, or they're interested in what I'm doing or whatever, and I like going to their channels and seeing what they're up to, and I like it being kind of that group. The one that kind of bums me a little bit is I do know that there are some handful of people in town. Like, I don't tell people for the most part that I have a YouTube channel. There are some people I know in town who do watch my channel. And there are some people who are gardeners in my town who watch my channel that I wish commented more. I'm like, you know, some of these folks, I'm like, dude, why don't you see? They're like, oh, I really like that. Why don't you comment in my comment section, you know? And so I would, I kind of would like some more of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is weird you say that because on the mushroom videos, I made a bunch of them and I have some friends local that, you know, I mushroom hunt and sometimes we even go together, but I don't pull the video out and do it with them. And guys at work that really love to talk mushrooms with me, and I've gave them some, they give me some, on and on. But there's a guy in town. Remember one of my early videos, I showed some persimmons and a friend had given them to me. That guy is weird. He lives on the way home from work. He's, I may be butchering this. He's from Laos, the country Laos.
Okay.
So he's Laotian. Hopefully I'm saying
that sounds right.
Yeah. But yeah, so he's from another country. He's from an Asian country. And I saw the persimmons one time and I pulled up in his yard. I didn't know who lived there. I just wanted to know what the tree was because they were wrapping and I thought it was some kind of citrus. Anyway, I made a friendship by knocking on some random dude's door, but it turned out to be a great friendship. He gives me persimmons every year and I give him fish every year when they harvest.
Right.
And so made this friendship where we talk a few times a year. And then we started talking about mushrooms. And he's like, yeah, dude, we should go sometime. And
Right.
he's sending me pictures. He's like, I found these. Did you find these?
Right.
And we finally get together and mushroom hunt one day. And I just opened up the guy. I said, yeah, sometimes I video these and put it up on YouTube. He said, oh, yeah. I've seen a lot of them.
Like, and you're like, why didn't you comment, man?
He never said nothing. And he, when I'm putting out the videos, it was weird. I'm like, this is so crazy. But maybe it's because he's finding them. I would put a video up and he'd send the things like, so you finding any wood ears? You finding any chanterelles?
Right.
And I'm like,
that's
that
a
is
coincidence.
So crazy. And no, dude's watching my videos. And he was cool with them. He likes them.
Yeah.
And part of it too is not having confidence, because I know that my videos aren't the greatest, but I know you've probably done this too. This has helped me really recently. This has helped me a lot as a YouTuber and just as a person, because if we do stuff and we invest time in it, obviously we want to feel like we're getting better. Otherwise we're, our wheels are just spinning. But I've had to go back and watch some of the videos because I started putting end screens on them.
Yeah.
And so now when I edit a video and I watch it one last time, pretty much every video that comes out, I'm like, that's kind of sucky, but it's all right.
Right.
But I see the progression, and I can remember some of the earlier videos where it was every once in a while I'd be like, hey, that's a pretty good video. And now I'm watching it and I'm like, that really sucks.
Yeah.
Like, you're compared to now. And so I doubt either one of us are as good as we want to be as a YouTuber. But if you go back, it's a huge boost of confidence. It's like with the gardening.
Right.
You like sucked at making salanova starch, but now I'm decent.
Yeah.
Like I'm not there. You probably through that phase or that cycle.
Yeah, I remember I remember us talking about you were like, I've been duct taping my iPhone to the trees in order to get a shot. There's got to be a better way to do this. And we're both like, yeah, me too. And we're like taping our stuff to trees to get shots and stuff. And then we're, so yeah, I mean, I remember some of the first ones. I had my camera on on a ladder propped up with a rock, and I was like, talking to the phone, seriously. And so it's like, I couldn't keep my face and the thing I wanted people to see in the same. I couldn't do it. I'm better at it. I'm not great at it, but I'm better at it. And so you're right. It's like, yeah, I mean, it's been an improvement. For me, I'm kind of like, I mean, I don't know, I am so embarrassing. I do the most embarrassing things. And so I've kind of gotten used to over the years just being like, put it out there, whatever. If people hopefully know, well, she's just a little crazy, that's okay. So I've kind of, when I put stuff out there, it's kind of like, well, I'm kind of a weirdo. This is not very good. This is just not that, but whatever, it's out there and I don't care. And so for me, I've just.
People love it. Comment on it then though. They're like, great Gumby dance.
Yeah, that is the funniest thing. That has, let's talk about confidence. People who will say, oh, that was such a funny little thing. I really like that part. The part that I was most embarrassed about. And I'm like, oh my God. Okay, I'm going to leave it in. Okay, I'm just going to leave it in. And then people say, oh, I really like that one part where you did that. And I think, oh, people didn't think that was crazy, And so it does. It kind of gives you confidence. Well, I can do some out there things. And the people that are watching me are kind of like, oh, okay, well, that's Katherine. She's a little bit weird, And so I, for the most part, have kind of been okay with the stuff. I'm just not that critical of me. It's that's okay. This wasn't done that great. I was kind of silly, but whatever. I don't care. And so, yeah.
And that would be something, because we're trying to talk about how YouTube's impacted us. So it really, and I think anybody that's done this, it does change you as a person a little bit. We're still Katherine and Paxton or whatever, but level of confidence, the ability to speak to people, and it's everybody unique, and it's hard to explain, but it is a significant part of their life. When I first started doing it, a friend made a comment like, "Oh, you're," they're laughing at me because I got into social media, because
Right.
I'm out of social media. I
Right.
don't have Facebook, any of that.
Yeah.
But we spend time, but we're creating something, and so we're invested in it mentally, and so it has changed. And then, honestly, up until YouTube, I've had friends in every hobby that I've did, but it was limited to local people, especially like here in the Southeast, people have sort of a mindset or whatever.
Right.
And so packing the mushrooms, the gardening, they all had their own ideas, and there's far and few in between. But now I hang out with people that are brilliant.
Yes.
For that, and I feel better about me, even though, master gardeners, there's some people that are into mycology that are awesome, and then people that are totally unrelated to me. Some of them I just like because they make great videos, and it's really changed. And I know this is different for you because you actually live on an island, so you're a little secluded, but because of where I'm at, I've got to meet a lot of those people. And those are, friendships change who you are. And if you're friends with people who have accomplished things and who are great at what they do,
Yeah.
it changes you
Yeah.
totally.
Yeah. It's not only, I mean, it's in so many ways, it's like, just watching people do things, I'm learning things. And also I feel kind of like a little bit like pushed to like, oh, Benny started this lettuce this early. I ought to be able to do it too. Then you feel like you've got a standard that's a little bit higher that you can reach up
And
to,
I think that's a good thing because, you don't want to try to be like your friends. You don't want
Right.
to compare yourself to your friends. But when you see something great, and if you think it's great,
Yeah.
maybe you should push yourself harder, not to be that person, but
No.
to be better.
Yeah. You're thinking, well, it's possible. So
Right.
I should try it and see if I can do it. And that's been awesome. But one thing I wanted to talk about before we, I don't know, we should probably maybe cover a few more things. But one thing I wanted to talk about, because I don't know that I think that you and I have talked about this, but when I first started doing YouTube, I had no idea that I sounded like a valley girl when I was talking. Like, as I'm talking to people all through my life, I thought I was just a normal person. And I recorded myself the first few times, and my voice, like, some of this is Pacific Northwest or West Coast sounding thing, but my
Yeah.
voice always goes up kind of into a question mark, like, and then I went out. Yeah, I can't do it. I know I'm constantly doing it,
Trying.
but it's like, oh my God, that's how I sound. And it was shocking to me, but it was also an epiphany because I've always through my life, um people have what is the word, had low expectations of me, and I've been confused by that because I went to college, I got this big old degree, had a big girl job in the big city, and like, what is this? I could never figure it out. But I think part of it is because I have kind of almost like and I also have, in addition to the way I talk, I almost have like a naive, childlike way of like, oh, you guys, I'm so excited about my little cucumber or whatever. And I'm like, oh, I wonder if this isn't a large part of some of the reaction I get from people. And I had no idea until I recorded myself.
Yeah, you're critical of yourself, critical when you see it, but you never
Yes.
knew self-critical. And I think this goes for between any two people. Like, I thought it sounded normal, I thought it sounded fine, but you
Right.
see it, it's not what you thought because
Right.
you
It's
had
not what I heard myself
just
sounding
a
like.
picture of yourself,
Right.
and that is totally not how you're coming off.
Right.
It's still who you are, but it's not how you're coming off. And for me, for one, my voice, not so much accent, because I knew that I had the Southern accent, but the voice. And I've heard my voice before, but you know that this is at length, like you're giving
Right.
10-minute videos talking, and I'm like, I'm really conscious about my voice. I don't like it, but with the YouTube thing, like you said, you just have to throw yourself out
Yep.
there and you just have to be content with it.
Yeah.
So I'm cool with that. But for me, there's been times when I've talked to people, because I've had different jobs, like where I had people working under me and I had to explain things. And when I did that, when we were working on the job, people basically told me I was a good instructor if I knew what I was talking about, obviously.
Right.
Sometimes I didn't know what I was talking about. And they're like, yeah, dude, don't know what he's talking about. But then when I'm talking about something I'm interested in, it's totally different. And I've tried to tell people why they shouldn't be basically using a lot of chemicals and there's better ways to do things. And I get so nerded out and I'm like, they don't hear a word I'm saying because they're
Right.
so closed-minded. But then I record myself and I'm like, God, dude, what are you talking about? Like, you're over here, now you're talking about this. And I don't know if I've gotten any better, but I've certainly got more conscious about it on YouTube. But
Right.
when I'm talking to friends, and I think it's made me a little bit quieter because I cannot drive a point home. And sometimes I feel like I do great at it, and then I feel like I do terrible at it. I don't really have a in between.
Right.
And I haven't solved that yet, but at least I know the problem is there.
Right.
And I want to fix it because I want to be able to push these ideas. Because if everybody were doing what we were doing, I think I would feel good if I pushed somebody into farming better.
Right. Yeah, I'm not a very convincing person either. I don't do, like, if I've thought something through, I can be, I can work kind of an argument through. But if I'm just talking, I'm like you. It's just over here, over there, and it doesn't make any darn sense at all. And it's like, well, no wonder. Like, people are like, she doesn't know what she's talking about, and the videos have made me like, I have to. I'm like, sometimes I've done a recording and I'm thinking that didn't make any sense. Like, I just like, and then I listened to it and it didn't make any sense, like you're saying. And so I'm like, okay, no, I need to explain this and this and then that. And so then I have to do it again, yeah.
And for that reason, I've had some videos where I refused to do it, and I recorded it 3 different times, 3 different days.
Right.
And maybe you watch a harvest video and you're like, yeah, you're harvesting the leftovers. Why did you not show the main part of the crop?
Right.
That's probably why.
Right.
Because
Exactly.
footage was great,
Yep.
but I'm talking out of my head like it makes no sense.
I've learned some things too with a video where, like, maybe don't talk while you're doing a thing, because I'll be talking about some thing and I'll think, and the part where I'm doing the thing is a good video, but the things I'm saying is just a bunch of junk. And so, like, knowing when to, like, this is good for, maybe I should voice over this thing. Like, I don't want to mess this shot up. Like, or I've learned, okay, you can turn the sound off and put some music behind it. Oh my God, I've had to do some seriously fancy editing when I've said some really dumb stuff and I'm like, oh my God, but I want this video, I want that part in it. So I turn the sound off and put some music behind it, or try and figure out ways to work around those sorts of things.
And like, going further with that, so we're saying that you have to look at yourself. You're looking at the video. But other thing for me is it's totally changed the way that I watch YouTube. Part of that's got to do with because I've learned things as a grower, because I wasn't doing a lot of this, most of it, when I started. And so, if I'm watching, I pretty much quit watching the permaculture food course. I still am interested in it, but I feel like I went past it in what I'm doing, and some of the little home remedy, small planting things, I feel like I've outgrown it. So that's one thing that I've changed how I watch YouTube. But the other thing is I watch, like, sometimes I get so fixated in watching the video that I don't even hear what the person's saying. Either they do it really good or really bad. And don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Because I have YouTube friends that are open about I'm not doing all that fancy prep. I'm not doing editing. I don't have a fancy camera.
Right.
This is what you get. If you want to watch it, watch it. If you don't, clip off.
Right.
I have no problem, and I watch a lot of videos that, I realize that they don't have time to do it, and they just shoot
Right.
them. But then I watch some stuff. A lot of it's not even garden related, but I'm super fascinated in some certain YouTube channels now because these people are so brilliant in the way that they're shooting their stuff. Like
Right.
one of them, this is sort of embarrassing for a grown dude to say this, but there's a young lady, Isabel Page, and she has a channel. I guess this is like a daily vlog, and you watch her and you think, oh, she's kind of a kid, because she's really young, she's 10 or 20, but you say, oh, she's just a kid. But for one, she's excellent at the video,
Mm-hmm.
or the way that she does the sound. Like she puts in great music, and she's carefree, and she's laughing, and she's giggling a lot. But then you see what she's doing, like she's living off grid, and you watch her cooking. She's been around the world. She's a yoga teacher and all that. And I don't know if I would have appreciated that before I started doing the YouTube.
Right.
And all that.
And you realize how hard that is to do it that well. Yeah.
And they do it, and these people are young and
Yeah.
and still living their life. And that's the thing you realize too. They still only have 24 hours in a day like you. So the fact that they're showing you their house and this and that, and you see that they did build the porch onto their thing, or they did go on this trip, they still had to make time while they accomplished all
Right.
that. And you respect them so much.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's changed the way that I watch YouTube totally.
So are you liking your kind of your upload schedule and what you're doing? Are you thinking about changing things up? Like, oh, I want to do fewer. I don't want to spend so much time. Or do you want to, how are you thinking about, are you thinking of changing anything, or about the same?
So, and I wanted to mention this too, because something is happening like right now. For one, in the last several months, so I went through sort of a burnout, and you know that because we talked about it, but
Right.
I didn't talk about it so much on YouTube. And I'm glad that I took a break, because I went through a burnout because I was working a lot off clock
Yeah.
stuff too. But I follow your channel a lot. Like I feel like it's sort of a partnership with the channels. And so
Right.
when you do things, it actually pressures me, and not pressure me, but I see that, like we were talking about, your friends do it, and you sort
Yes.
of
And you
raise
think,
your
hey,
standards.
yeah, yeah,
You really do have that discipline, and you every week you have step by step through the week, pretty much every day it looks like, because you go Monday,
Right.
Tuesday, you
Right.
have the dates. And that's made me think I really need to get on with it and show this. But the other thing is I'm starting to get more views. I don't know what happened in the algorithm, but in the last 3 or 4 days,
Have you hit 200 yet?
I'm at 199, but I've been hovering at 190 something for like 3 months now.
Yeah, because when I hit
190
200, it seemed like I all of a sudden started getting, I don't know if they started recommending, I wonder if that's some sort of magical number or something. I don't know.
There's a lot in that algorithm, and I think the algorithm moves also,
Yeah.
like the different things. But so yeah, as my views are going up, and so I'm more inclined to do it. And this is something I want to talk about with you personally, is monetization. Neither one of us did this for the money, obviously, because
Right.
we haven't focused on anything, and we spent time and money.
Right.
But I know for myself, especially when I start my farm in Bama, that I want to make better quality videos, and I want to do it on a schedule. But I do want to monetize it. I want the supplemental income.
Yeah.
Like, are you close? Are you thinking
Well,
about it?
I think you have to have what? 2,000
1,000
subscribers or enough?
1,000
Oh, 1,000
1,000
subscribers?
subscribers, 4,000 hours.
And both of them,
And
or one or the other? I couldn't remember. Both?
I think it's both. I
Okay.
think you have to
So
have
I'm
both.
not, my hours aren't there yet. I don't know what it was. Maybe I'm only a third of the way there. I don't know. And of course I only have, and I say, when I say I only have, I never thought I would even hardly get 50 subscribers. So to have 300 plus is like, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm not, I'm not there yet. So, but yeah.
Does it cross your mind though as your numbers are started to creep up?
Yeah, I've always thought like, well, once I hit 50 subscribers and I thought, well, gosh, maybe people are actually interested in watching this. I started thinking, well,
Yeah.
it would be kind of nice to be able to, you're putting all this time into it. Hopefully it's interesting or useful to people. And so since I'm doing it, it would be, and you know what they're doing too? I don't know if you've noticed this on your channel. They're running ads in front of unmonetized channels
So,
anyway. So
yeah.
if they're running them and they're making the money and we're not taking a piece of that, and that is, it's their business and it totally makes sense, however
They
they
give
do
us
it.
a platform.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I figure like if they're running ads in front of my videos, especially my boat videos, like I'm kind of bummed about. Hopefully they're not cutting into my boat videos and inserting, like multiple things throughout. Because I would choose rather not to have ads on my boat videos if people could watch the whole thing through. I don't like those ones in the middle that cut things like that up. I mean, I don't mind them so much, if it's just a regular garden video, like, okay, whatever. But anyway, because they're putting ads on, I might as well monetize when I can. Yeah. So what about you? What are you thinking on that?
I want to do it, and so I want to make my content better.
Right.
And I'm not worried about it now while I'm here.
Yeah.
And I don't feel the value's there. I mean, I'm glad that people are watching it, and I do feel that people are getting value. But when I have a legit farm like you have now, and I've made the mistakes, and I have this good, enjoyable content, or even with the hiking stuff, if I can produce a good video that you feel good watching and you enjoy it, it relaxes you or whatever it does for you.
Right.
Doesn't bother me to make a little money, and we're not going to get rich from it anyway.
No.
And when I go into the farming, I'm going to need any supplemental income that I can get.
Right.
It's going to be, and yeah, but I do want to put that out there to people because I've gotten a lot from it, and it's just like you had a store one time, but you only sold organic, good food. You never had that guilt that you were selling garbage. I don't know,
right?
Like something.
Yeah.
And so now you grow and produce your own food. There's no guilt in that. You actually probably feel better about yourself.
Right.
And to me, this is no different. I'm producing something that's worthwhile, or I hope to. And yeah, I really want that. And I do want the money, but it's more about the whole concept, the whole lifestyle, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. It's all of that. It's kind of like, like you could grow food for yourself as a homestead. And of course, you're making money that way that you're saving money. There's nothing wrong with growing food you're selling it to people, so YouTube, I think that sometimes there's this little bit of a stigma because it's social media or something about it. Like it's no different really than, I mean, I guess it's not really that different from like growing food and selling it. It's like, it's just it's a product. And if people are interested and, whatever, I look at it kind of like that.
And the content that we create, I feel like could only improve somebody else's life.
Right. Yeah, and I was going to say, like, you're saying, well, the videos I'm doing, well, it's not like a real farm and blah, blah, blah. But there's things in your videos that even when you're doing something on a very small scale, because I'm small scale. I mean, I know you're even smaller scale right now because you have those limitations. But like with your variety videos, I'm like, oh, I'd like to try that. Or when you're doing the Jang cedar and you're talking about your turnips coming out planted too closely and stuff, I'm like, I had that problem with my radishes. And so it's like I think that you're a little too particular. Like you're too critical of what you're doing. And I think that it's important, like say as you're doing what you're doing there, which I think that you don't realize the usefulness and the interestingness, because like like I was just watching Benny do that video of a potato harvest. I loved
Yeah.
it. And so you do harvest videos. It's great. You do, this is how I cooked with this thing, or the mushroom stuff, or when it's all really, really interesting. And I think that you're not realizing it because, well, I'm doing this. And so like, whatever. But, and as you're doing that in the location you're doing it, if you continue to improve the videos as to the standards you want or whatever, and gain more subscribers and whatever, then when you go over to your Alabama farm, people come with you. So I don't
Yeah.
think, like, I think that what you're doing now, I mean, obviously if somebody's like, hey, gosh, I am like, cause like my job is the market garden. So I'm always out there. I've always got the camera hanging out, but you have to work a job, do your garden and everything else in life, right? And so, so I can understand why a person would be like, hey, I want to break from this, or I'm getting burnout or whatever. But I just think it's important to remember that what you're doing is useful and interesting, and that's why people are watching it, and and building while you're doing that, building an audience, and
I
so
appreciate that. And it really did, like, and I'm sure you do this, but you go through lulls where you have no confidence in it. But
right.
like now I'm uptick, and sometimes it's just a comment. Maybe it's the comment itself, or maybe it's somebody you reckon like, oh wow, they commented on my thing, and it's this huge boost of confidence, and you realize that you were better than you were at this time point.
Right.
And I do get that, and like right now I'm feeling good about it, which is why I want to start posting more, and it helps with the burnout.
Right.
Goes along with it.
I also think that it's, like some people like to post on for me, it's because if I don't, then I probably wouldn't get it done. Like if I didn't post on like Saturday's got to be done or whatever, if by the end of the week, like midnight on Sunday or whatever, then it would be hard for me personally. But I know other YouTubers who just post when they want to post. So like the Hermitage, she posts when she wants to post, and you're happy to see a video when it comes up, that's Lauren. And so it's kind of like everybody has a different way of approaching it. And so I think that being cool with how you're doing it is, because I don't think that there's a right way or a wrong way to do that, right? I don't know.
Personal development and like how you go with it. And
right.
One thing too is like monetization is, like I said, it's not about money, but it's like trying to increase your viewership and get things moving. And it's sort of having people involved. At some point, I don't know if it'll happen, but if I get good enough, I really like teaching people, which we do on the YouTube channel. Like, this is what I did. This is what blew up and does not work. Don't try this.
Right.
I would like to, we have a few of those.
A lot of those, right? My cucumbers, I killed them.
Yeah, I've had some not so great stuff, but I would like to teach and personal, not so much as the workshops, like, some of the guys we knew have done the workshops, and I got to go to one of them, and they're super beneficial. I don't know that I want to do that, but small, like if it's just in a restaurant or something, if they asked me, like, this is something I thought about. If I was selling to a restaurant and they had good produce and the stuff was good enough, they'd be like, oh yeah, this dude, you'll see him come in, he grows this stuff. If they was to ask me to speak, I would really like to do something like that. Not for pay or anything, just to have an audience and see. Yeah. I like public speaking. I don't like talking to people individually much, but I like public speaking a little bit.
Right. Boy, that makes me nervous.
So like YouTube preps you for that. Well, but you do public speak.
I know, but it's funny because it's interesting. Like, I know when I first started the YouTube channel, I was like, hi, my name is Katherine, and this is my garden, and now I'm just like, blah, blah, blah. But I feel like when I'm talking now, like then I felt like I was talking in front of an audience or something, and it made me kind of a little bit nervous. And now I feel like I'm talking to my friends, like, hi guys,
People, the YouTube people that watch you
Yeah,
and
I'm
show
talking to
them
those
talking.
people. The people that
Yeah, I
comment
see
on my
that.
channel. And then, I know there's probably other people that don't comment, they don't feel comfortable or whatever. But those are the people I've got in my head as I'm talking. And it's like, like it's so I feel like I'm talking to my friends, kind of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I do get that. And so then it's not necessarily public speaking. You're speaking. You're just talking to somebody.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it does. But that's what a good public speaker is, I think, because
Right. They feel
you know,
comfortable talking to audience as if they're, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because well, I'll just say, like, I went to that workshop that had Jesse Frost, and a lot of other guys were there too. Josh Satin, Daniel Mays, which isn't on YouTube, but I can never say the guy's name, but the guy on Nature is Always Right. I know him well, Stephen Colbert, or no. Anyway, he's a big YouTuber, but and every one of the guys had a different style, and they were all great. But Jesse Frost, when he talks to people, and that's why, as a teacher, I've been so drawn to him, is he's talking to friends. He's not talking
Right.
to the audience.
Yeah.
And he's laid back, and he's a
He's
little
really
bit silly.
personable. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, but his information is bam, bam, bam.
Yep.
Like, no, I did this. I did it.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay. And it's, I could learn something from you easier than I could the instructor down at the college.
Right.
If y'all both knew the same thing. So that's something that's been rolling around in my mind. It's sort of YouTube related. I guess it was brought on by YouTube because I
Right.
realized at least a few people will spend a few minutes out of their day to listen to my stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I
So,
haven't really thought about kind of next level sort of stuff. Oh, well, yeah, that's not true. Something I've thought about doing, I would love to do more like more talking with people in Southeast Alaska, especially even a lot of people I know, and kind of do a little discussion with them. But then I'm
yeah.
always feeling like, will people want to, like I feel kind of a little uncomfortable asking people, would you want to do a Zoom call with, and we could talk about radishes or, like, or cucumbers or, so that's kind of, and then, yeah. And then I'm just not, yeah, I mean, I get kind of stressed out about it too. So, but I guess if I were
But
to do something,
you're saying that you sort of want that organization and want to be a part of that organization of growers so
yeah,
that they're one, like a collective sort of.
yeah,
I
because the
don't know if
one
it's the correct
thing
word.
that kind of, came to me is like, as I was doing YouTube, is like, okay, well, I'm documenting my stuff. I'm sharing this information with people. I'm getting feedback from other people. I'm able to put out different kinds of videos. The other thing, in addition to that I've been thinking about as far as YouTube is like, when I was moved to Southeast Alaska and I was trying to figure out how to grow in this climate and temperature and all this, there just was hardly any information. And so it'd be nice to have that real detail from people in Southeast Alaska, what varieties of this or that worked for them, when did they start their stuff, when, before, and it didn't freeze, and all of that. And so I think more and more about that. Okay, folks, well, we've been having technical difficulties throughout this discussion because my internet was not working very great, so we were freezing up here and there. But just wanted to talk a little bit about doing a YouTube channel while at the same time kind of doing the market garden thing. Having started a couple of years ago, what was it like then, and some of the things that we were thinking about now as far as a YouTube channel.